CoreWeave is an AI cloud computing platform founded in 2017. The company provides cutting-edge hardware and software that is able to train AI models faster. The core technology is graphics processing units, or GPUs, and CoreWeave has some 250,000 of them warehoused across the 33 data centers, mostly in the US, that CoreWeave operates. Renting out access to their number-crunching prowess to compute-hungry customers, once popular for rendering graphics for video games and mining crypto, which CoreWeave also used to do, GPUs have become a crucial engine for artificial intelligence. Access to the GPUs commonly designed by NVIDIA can determine a company's fortunes, since they're expensive and not so easy to come by. And CoreWeave, which trades on the NASDAQ, has built a $50 billion market cap business by becoming one of their go-to brokers. They serve the likes of Microsoft, OpenAI, and Meta in the race for AI ascendancy. Startups have been strapped for these sophisticated chips since ChatGPT was launched and exploded in popularity in 2022, with even OpenAI this past February delaying rolling out a major model upgrade because it ran out of chips to run it on. That means whoever has the GPUs holds the keys to an enormous business opportunity. The AI cloud computing market was $230 billion in 2024, and assuming the boom continues and doesn't become a bust, is poised to explode to $400 billion by 2028, according to Wall Street analysts.
We are critical aspects to the launch of many of the AI models that everyone knows and uses today. And without our infrastructure there, without our backbone supporting these launches, they simply wouldn't happen.
CoreWeave's stock price has more than doubled since its March IPO, trouncing the broader NASDAQ's return of 23.9% and minting at least 5 billionaires in the process. CEO Michael Intrator, who's 56, is now worth $6.7 billion as of September 1st, landing him on the Forbes 400 list of the richest Americans for the first time. Co-founders Brannon McBee and Peter Solanki, as well as early investor and board member Jack Kogan, are also new billionaires thanks to CoreWeave. NVIDIA has been a significant partner for CoreWeave, and CoreWeave CEO describes the relationship as highly symbiotic, though not equal. CoreWeave buys NVIDIA's chips. NVIDIA is also a customer of CoreWeave and has agreed to buy CoreWeave's unused capacity through 2032 in an agreement that's currently worth about $6 billion, but subject to change. NVIDIA also invested some $350 million into CoreWeave, and that investment is now worth around $2.5 billion. CoreWeave's cloud infrastructure is designed to optimize the delivery of NVIDIA's technical solutions to their target market. By focusing their engineering resources on this specific use case, CoreWeave has developed world-class expertise in building and delivering the necessary infrastructure. That's also been dependent on their ability to finance it all, since GPUs and giant data center builds are extremely expensive.
I always say that one of the things that we did so well is we really understood what Silicon Valley and the West Coast capital is built to do, which is this incredible, we're going to change the world, we're going to make investments that are, they may succeed, they may fail, but they're incredible capacity to go on the adventure of trying to build new things that really bend the curve of technology and bend the curve of humanity. At the same time, what we had that was unique was an understanding of what it's like to come back to the East Coast, to walk into the offices of private lenders like Blackstone and Magnetar, guys who are in the debt markets that have an incredibly different lens on how they face the world.
CoreWeave has successfully wooed the debt markets and raised some $29 billion in debt financing, but with so much debt also comes interest, and the company spent more than $250 million paying interest on that debt last quarter on just $19 million in operating income. However, As CoreWeave pays down that debt and refinances it starting next year, that interest expense should go down. Plus, about half of CoreWeave's assets are GPUs, which are said to depreciate over 6 years, or less now that NVIDIA is upgrading its chips faster. Still, CoreWeave says interest and infrastructure costs are built into its multi-year contracts. I think the average length is about 4 years, meaning that there should be some profit left over at the end of each contract. In less than a decade, the Livingston, New Jersey-based business has spun up a data center empire. They booked $2.2 billion in revenue in the first half of 2025, on net losses of about $600 million. By 2031, it hopes to bring in another $30 billion in revenue, mostly from contracts with Microsoft and OpenAI, and a string of AI startups such as Cohere and Mistral. CoreWeave started when Intrator, Venturo, and McBee started experimenting with cryptocurrency mining, beginning with one GPU purchased on a credit card and eventually scaling to thousands.
As a group, and we were working with the GPUs, scattered across the pool table, plugged into every outlet we could find, and ultimately, they shut down the air conditioner in August over the weekends, and we came in on a Monday, and it was like, 130 degrees in the office, and I flipped. I was just like, this wasn't really built for this. We kind of have overdone it. We got to get the stuff out of here.
They moved their operations to Brian Venturo's grandfather's garage in New Jersey and began to focus more intensely on the project as they received outside interests from their commodities trader peers who wanted to get into cryptocurrency. When crypto experienced one of its periodic crashes in 2018, the co-founders bought thousands of GPUs from miners going out of business for pennies on the dollar. That allowed them to rake in an estimated $80 million in revenue from mining mostly Ether.
And then from there, we went through this period where we began to realize that we could use this infrastructure for things beyond just mining cryptocurrencies. We could use it for CGI rendering, we could use it for artificial intelligence, machine learning, all of these things. And so when I think about the founding of the company, there was the initial founding of the company into this great science experiment of cryptocurrencies, which were just really interesting.
Their first break into AI came through a collaboration with Eleuther AI, a Washington, D.C. based, but really Discord server based research nonprofit. In late 2021, CoreWeave shelled out about $2 million to buy a bunch of NVIDIA's A100 chips and built a cluster of 96 GPUs for the organization, which was training a powerful open source large language model, essentially an open source version of GPT-3. It did what Eleuther wanted, but was plagued by bugs, networking issues, and storage problems. Still, Eleuther got free GPU access, and CoreWeave learned how to build the thing. Through Eleuther, CoreWeave found Stability AI, the creator of a viral early AI text-to-image generator called Stable Diffusion. That's when the co-founders saw the first outlines of a really enormous business opportunity, and it only grew from there.
You can have the technology, you can have the data centers, but if you're unable to finance those things and move at the pace of AI software adoption and the scale of it, it doesn't really matter. And now we're talking billions and tens of billions of financing capital to be required. We understood that you can collateralize commodities, you can collateralize infrastructure in support of financing activities. It's not just the infrastructure that's collateralized. It's not just GPU financing or loans. It's the GPUs inside of a CoreWeave data center environment with a CoreWeave client offtake with the CoreWeave software around it. And it's that whole package that's getting collateralized and financed within these facilities.
In our own way, we're changing some of the tooling around how you build a cloud. and how you finance a cloud. And so what's implicit in that is this period where we spent a tremendous amount of time educating the market about what we were trying to do, what it was going to take.
CoreWeave's success depends on how quickly it can go from receiving an NVIDIA GPU to getting it in a data center, online, and working for a customer.
We're not only successful because we deliver a good quality product and a product that's very appealing to our users, but we can bring the latest technologies to the market faster, and we can make them work. And that both means that our customers, can iterate faster because they have access to the latest and greatest technologies. It also means that we can squeeze the lifetime of these chips out longer than anyone else.
Just how much revenue those servers can deliver, though, depends on two things: how long AI's demand for compute will outstrip supply, and how long it will take AI companies that want to build out their own infrastructure to catch up. Aside from the hyperscaling incumbents, CoreWeave must also battle cloud computing rivals like Crusoe, Nebius, and Lambda Labs, many of which have landed contracts, sometimes bigger than the ones with CoreWeave's big tech clients. They use multiple cloud providers to reduce dependence on just one. And then there's that debt. CoreWeave has no plans to stop borrowing against its GPUs. Its debt could rise to $30 billion in 2 years, per JP Morgan projections, because the company sees it as the fastest and most efficient way to access the capital needed to buy GPUs and build out data centers, something CoreWeave has done at breakneck speed with a combination of strategy and luck.
This is my third startup, and for people who choose to start new companies, build new companies, you live in a protracted state of facing oblivion, right? So was there a point at which I thought the company was not going to make it? Yeah, for about the first 6 years. Every day, and you go into work and you try to solve a litany of different problems. Everything from, are we building the right software solutions, and are we making enough progress at the data center to be able to deliver infrastructure, and are we going to remain solvent? The one thing that I knew right from the start is those were the guys that I was going to be in the best position to survive what I knew was going to be a very difficult and fraught period of building this company. If I were to start another company, those are the same 4 guys that I would go into it with.